What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to another episode of CGX. This is a cloud gaming podcast, and we have a lot of good stuff to. Oh my goodness. Sorry. This happens all the time. We have a lot to discuss, and as you guys know, the good stuff Google Stadia event was this week, and so we're going to cover that. And NVIDIA had some pretty killer news, right, with some 11 games being added to the platform and some GeForce Now news. So we'll cover that in this podcast as well. Amazon Luna was officially released this week on Stadia's event day. So we're going to talk about that. And there's some pretty interesting stuff happening with Xcloud or Game Pass game streaming. So we'll talk about that here in this podcast. But to get started, y'all, we have some awesome members on the panel, and I just want to take time to check in with them, just see what they're doing, see what they're playing. And yeah, the reason we do this is for you guys to connect with them, get to know them too on a personal level. So we're going to get started on that. So something that we normally don't do is read the comments, but I'm going to make an effort to connect with you guys on this podcast with the comments. So if you guys want to engage in conversations of discussions that we're talking about, just write in the comment and we'll try to call you guys out too. All right, so let's get started, right? So Jerry, how are you today, sir? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Not too bad, not too bad. Forgot to ask also, what games are you playing on what platform?
So, Stadia had a lot going on this week, so of course I did do some of that. Pac-Man and Immortals are the two demos that I was playing on there a good bit. I didn't check out Humankind. Maybe you guys check that one out. And then Modern Warfare has a lot going on for the Halloween event that was only a couple weeks long, so I've been in that a lot, playing on Shadow and maximum settings there. And Pumpkin Jack on GeForce Now. I'm absolutely having a ball with that game.
That's pretty interesting, man. I was gonna get on Pumpkin Jack, but again, haven't got time to. So I'm glad you're playing it. I'm glad that you're enjoying it for sure. Cool, cool. How about you, Duncan? What you been up to? What have you been playing? What platform have you been using to play the
I
game?
have been playing some Stadia this week. I think a lot of people have because of the demos on there. I had to go at Pac-Man. I've had to go at Phoenix Rising. It's been a lot of good fun. I've actually did something shocking this week. I actually hooked up my Nvidia Shield.
Ooh,
So I've been playing some GeForce Now this week as well. So that's been
nice.
good.
How you liking
Uh,
that shield? Sorry to
oh,
cut.
Oh, no bother at all. It's really enjoyed it actually. I think this is the first time I've actually played it. I actually see the upscaling, and I've activated the upscaling, and the I've got onto the new servers because when I was playing Assassin's Creed the last time, it was low textures and everything's popping ultra. So a bit of a difference there. So it's been all good there gaming wise.
Nice, nice. Cool. Good to hear. How about you, Holtz? What you been up to? What have you been playing? What platform?
So as a slow week, I've just been playing Stadia again, Grid, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I've finished it now, so I'm all ready for the next one. But I've been
Ooh,
fighting back. Trying to stay away from Immortals because I don't want to play the demo because I've already pre-ordered it. I have faith in Stadia. I have faith on Uplay, but part of me is like, oh, I know it's there. So I had to distract myself with other games that I know I casually have fun with.
oh man, you have what, less than 4 days if you ever do change your mind to get on that demo. So
I mean,
that,
I love the setting of it, and I have
yeah,
faith in them studios, so I know that my pre-order is going to go well on that
yeah,
platform.
yeah. And how long did it take you to beat Odyssey, man?
I would think I clocked in about 72 hours, and that
Oof,
was that was like plenty of deaths, a few side missions.
wow,
I'm not really a big side mission person, but
wow,
just a bit of main missions.
yeah. Dude, think about the games that are coming out this fall for stating the length of those games, right? If this game's taking you 70 hours, you're talking about Cyberpunk, and then you have Watch Dogs, and then you have Immortals, and then you have so you should be good for
Yeah.
quite some time when it comes to games to play. It's cool. Mark, how are you, sir? What have you been up to? What games have you been playing? What platform?
I'm good, man. I am here despite the just being a random profile picture. Don't know what's going on with the camera today, but I am here. Yeah, everyone has had a busy week this week. Obviously, checking out all of the Stadia demos. Very much like Jerry, I don't know how this speaks to their selection of demos. I know the Civilization type games are like a massive thing for a lot of people. I wasn't particularly interested in that one, so I have actually played a fair amount of Pac-Man. It wasn't just like the day it came out, I checked it out, that's it. I have gone back pretty much every day this week to have a play of Pac-Man because I'm weirdly good at it. Didn't know that, found that out about myself. That's weird.
Yeah.
And obviously Immortals Phoenix Rising, about an hour-long demo, amazing game. Yeah, really looking forward to that one. And today I have also been checking out Pumpkin Jack. With it was such a weird game to get like RTX goodness, but it is really good, and I highly recommend it, especially for this time of year. It's amazing.
Nice. You guys are gonna convince me to check that game out after
Do
this
it.
podcast. Is it? How much is it? It is
It's like
It's cheap.
less than, is it $20? Less than $20?
It's like $24 for me. It's 20% off for launch already until the 30th. It's only a $30 game normally
nice.
anyway.
And
You'll more than get your 20 some bucks
that's
out
awesome. It has RTX, you said, right?
of it. NTLSS
Mhm.
2.0.
Okay.
It's not that you need it, but it's there.
Say no more. I'm on. I am so on. Chief, what you been up to, sir? And what game have you been playing? What platform?
Yeah, I've been playing Road Company on Geforce now. I had to hop back in for some of that action. It was good to
Nice.
team up with you as well, Ace. Get some games in. That was good
Yes,
fun.
sir.
Yeah, I've been following obviously the Good Stuff event, and the one that I was anticipating, I did hop into Phoenix Immortals. Holtz, nothing spoiled me. As we found out, and Gems also pointed out there in the chat, it's a unique island just for the demo, so it's got nothing to do with the story. It's
Ooh.
a complete segregated demo, so you can play to your heart's content and unlock an item for your game.
Right.
So you get an extra unlock for completing the demo. So it's definitely worth it if you pre-ordered the main game. And it is great fun. I played it on my phone, played it on the iPhone. Check out the video, little plug there. And I played it. So I've played it through twice now. Once on Chrome, I did the video for that, and on my phone as well. Looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, definitely worth checking that one out.
So, Chief, you worked on something. I kind of had an idea of what you do for work, but I didn't know like how skilled you were. So, checking this out though, if you want to kind of tell the people what you have created and how they can access this, if you want to just plug.
I was trying not to be the face of it, but thanks, Ace.
Too late.
Yeah, so the desktop only browser app is the app that I've created so that you guys can go and play Stadia on iPhone in full screen, and also supports picture-in-picture. If you do want to hop in there, as long as you're using the Stadia controller. It's not got Bluetooth support because putting Bluetooth support into a web browser gets you kicked off the App Store. That's the reason, by the way, that Stadium got kicked off the App Store, not because Apple hate cloud gaming. They hate people breaking the rules, and the rules state that you must use APIs and stuff that are relevant to the app's use, and Bluetooth controller and game controller support hidden in a web browser, because it was hidden, it wasn't stated, is the reason it got removed from the App Store. So I've circumvented that by not using it, which means if you've got a Stadia controller, you've got a full desktop browser app on your phone that you can go and play Stadia with.
Okay. So there you have it. Yeah, I'll check that out if you haven't yet. Again, had no idea that Chief can actually do things like that. So it's pretty cool to see. All right, so I've been just trying to follow up with this whole Google Stadia event, and been really, really busy this week. This was my daughter's birthday. We celebrated last night, and she had a sleepover, so I got no sleep. So again, if I'm forgetting stuff here, just know that I'm not all present. But really excited for this though, because we have a lot of good things to talk about. But again, something I said earlier is I want to take time to connect with you guys who are on this stream, watching live and commenting. So just want to give a shout out to Warlock. And again, if you guys didn't know, whatever you guys contribute to these podcasts is distributed amongst every member of the panel. So if you see people on here that you support and you want to support them, just know that is going towards everyone. So Warlock, appreciate the support, man. Thank you for being here. 007, again, this man never misses a stream. So again, just appreciate your consistency with being here. Jem, it's good to see you as well. Appreciate you being here. PS2 Gamer Pro Gamer is another person who is really consistent with being present for these live streams. So again, shout outs to you. And we'll be reading these comments as the podcast continues. So let's get right into it though, because again, we have some really good things to talk about. So GeForce Now, as you guys know, every Thursday they release news for the platform. And this week, 11 games was added, but we'll get to the games. The first thing I want to talk about with the GeForce Now news, and now comes 3 months free founders for owners of Chromebooks. So if you purchase a Chromebook, I believe a new one, right, you get 3 months free to GeForce Now Founders Edition. And then also, if you have a Chromebook, you guys should go to the perks area and see if you do qualify to get 3 months free, because that's something that is happening right now for Chromebook users who use GeForce Now. All right, so check that out if you haven't yet. But just want to hear from the members on this panel, right? What are your thoughts about this? Because Stadia is doing something similar. And at this rate, man, Chromebook is looking like a very beastie cloud gaming device or platform, if you want to call it that. So just to get started, Duncan, what's your take on this news with GeForce Now 3 months for Chromebook users?
It's really good news. It's great to get it all out there. It's good marketing, and it's going to get more people onto the service, get more people interested into it, and especially for all the free-to-play games you can play on GeForce Now. I think that is going to be a big killer thing. So there you go. Here's your 3 months of GeForce Now, and go play some Destiny, go play this for absolutely nothing. And it's a real
How
good
about you,
perk.
host? What's your take on this GeForce Now Chromebook news?
You can't go wrong with a free pair, can you? 3 months free pair for these people that, incentive. But it's for new customers, isn't it? It's only.
No, if you. New founders.
Yeah. So for the people who want to try cloud gaming, GeForce Now is such a great platform to dive in. And like Duncan just said, free games, free 3 months with your purchase of your Chromebook. So it's a win-win for everyone.
True. Jared, what's your take on this news?
Yeah, Chromebook is actually looking like a pretty good option for a lot of cloud gaming, and I'll probably grab one up eventually. GeForce just keeps on, or NVIDIA just keeps on giving promotions. You're either getting free games or free months of GeForce Now, and it's funny because I still hear a lot of people say, I don't know how serious NVIDIA is with GeForce Now. I don't know. They seem pretty serious to me. They keep bringing people in, so and I find myself just going to the service more and more recently as well. So
yeah.
Really nice to see that for Chromebook users. And like I told somebody else before, if you really need 3 free months, just create a new account. Get your 3 free months, switch back to your other account if you want. Your game saves are not tied to GeForce Now. It's all PC, so you're not out anything. If you really want that 3 free months, just use another email.
Jerry, that's smart. Didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right when it comes to that, yeah. How about you, Chief? What's your take on this, man?
Yeah, I'm getting quite jealous of the Chromebooks, actually. Looking at our perks page, it's like I just had to keep scrolling. I was like, you get this free, and you get 3 months of this, and 3 months of this. So getting GeForce Now 3 months founders is just phenomenal. So I think you've got your 3 months Stadia on there as well. So you could either back-to-back them, and you got 6 months free gaming for your Chromebooks. But if you get that 4K Pixelbook, I guess you need something to offset that cost. So they're definitely not always the cheapest now. I always remember Chromebooks being like the cheap entry kind of do everything tablet with the Chrome
Yeah.
OS, but now it seems like they've gone the same way as everything else. You've got your really cheap budget versions, and now you've got your top end Ultrabook Chromebooks type scenarios with the
crazy.
4K Chromebooks. So yeah, I'm quite jealous over it, but I'm gonna have a PC again soon, so we'll see.
Cool. How about you, Mark? What's your take on this news?
Yeah, I mean, Chromebook is looking like a great investment at this point to just like a super, affordable, lightweight machine that can still, accomplish all of your gaming needs through all of these. And yeah, the promotions just keep on coming for it. I was slightly confused when I saw this because I had to do the mental arithmetic of, okay, wait, so Google Chromecast, Google Stadia. And that's obviously where that promotion was before. And I was like, so are Google promoting another cloud gaming? And I think this is maybe another one of those examples of like Google being so big. Obviously, the Chromebook department, whatever that is, possibly being so separate from Stadia that they're just like, to push Chromebooks, we'll work out these deals with other companies, even if they're a direct competitor. Which, I mean, ultimately just benefits Chromebook users at the end of the day. So I'm super happy about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But like you guys were saying, though, Chromebook started off as a cheap device, but now the prices just seem to be increasing, right? But man, I remember the good old days, right, at school where you couldn't even use your cell phones, and now most schools are providing, that's me. This background noise, so if you guys are hearing that, I apologize. But most schools are offering Chromebooks to students, right? And I remember when I went to school, no cell phones were allowed, right? So imagine getting a cheap Chromebook from school and then having access to play AAA titles on the go or at school. I think Google has something great going on here with Chromebooks, and it's really cool to see Chromebooks just being able to play these killer games on the go and on the fly. It's really awesome. So 11 games were added to GeForce Now this week. Just want to check with the members of this panel if you guys have actually tested any of these games out. I don't want to list it because 11 is a lot, but if you guys watch our videos or any videos on here, you guys know about these 11 games. So to get started, Duncan, what's your take on these 11 games? Have you played any of them? Do any of them stand out to you?
It's the Paradox ones again. The Surviving the Aftermath had in the Steam on day and date. I actually played that game. I actually like that game. So that is a game well worth picking up. It's my sort of jam. A nice wee strategy game where you can sit and think. Also, the one which is taking my eye, because I know people are going to talk about the other one, the Pumpkin Jack, because people have been playing that, is Amnesia Rebirth. Just that coming out again, absolutely brilliant. So I do like the two headliners there, and it's also good seeing the free games return to GeForce Now as well. So we're seeing that a lot now that the games are just coming back as well.
Cool. Yeah. Again, good stuff this week for GeForce Now. How about you, host? What's your take on the GeForce Now news and the games that are available this week?
There's only two that was interesting, maybe a third one, but of course, Amnesia Rebirth is one. I love playing horror games, but I'm a big scaredy cat. But also, I love jump scares. I can't help myself. I love playing games where it's just me, the headphones, darkness, and my breath. And Amnesia games do have them scare jumps that are just well known in the series. So I'm definitely going to jump into this. And this story seems interesting. You've crash landed in the Sahara Desert. And you have you've been affected by a sort of a rage sickness. So every time darkness falls, you sort of hallucinate and you sort of have panic attacks, and you need to scavenge for parts and matches just to sort of survive without actually the sickness taking you over you, which is a good take on horror, because usually it's sort of like the evil vampires or werewolves hunting you, but now this just looks like it's just you and your fear. So that's one game that I'm actually going to jump in. And then another one, of course, people on the panel have mentioned it and they've played it, but Pumpkin Jack. I love action platformers. And this game so reminds me of Medieval, with monsters and ghouls running around and, a champion's rose in this like unorthodox way, which is like he's like a punkin knight, and he has to like sort of save the villagers. And I think that's just really great. And seeing the character designs and the world so far, especially with that RTX, just makes it look gorgeous. And then the soundtrack just reminds me of something that you will see out of A Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween tunes with like cellos and flutes and xylophones and stuff like that. So it's a game that I'm really interested in playing, especially for the Halloween theme.
So Amnesia stands out to you out of all the 11 games.
And then one, I didn't even know it was there, but it's great that they're supporting older titles. Supreme Commander 2. You know, my friend, he's a big, huge Supreme Commander 2 fan. So I have to say to him, hey, go and get a Chromebook with 3 months Geforce now, and you can play Supreme Commander on it now. So it's great that they're bringing games for everyone.
There you go. Awesome, awesome. How about you, Jerry? What stands out to you out of all these games?
Obviously for me, because we've been talking about it, Pumpkin Jack was just the big one for me. I was waiting for it. I really actually like, I don't know if you guys saw, but on Twitter and on Steam, they were building the hype up for this for a few days, and they had like a developer stream. They had a tweet out saying, don't worry, he's opted in. So we knew it was coming to GeForce Now, and it was just kind of fun. So I just kind of watched that one for a week, and then when it finally came out and it was on sale and I could play it on GeForce Now, and like Duncan was saying, he's finally into the Shield TV. Playing that with ray tracing with the AI upscaling on the 4K TV is really awesome. So that for me has just been the highlight this week. Really have been enjoying GeForce Now with that game. But it was also nice to see 5 of the 11 games be either day and date or some type of new release, which was really good for them.
Yeah, true. How about you, Mark? What's your take on these 11 games?
Yeah, I think they've hit a pretty good theme this week with some kind of build up to Halloween. You know, there's the horror games, Pumpkin Jack, stuff like that. So it just goes to show that they're not just kind of like randomly chucking games in when they can, just week by week. They've got a plan, they've got them scheduled out, and you know, even this one is a weird kind of themed selection, which I love. Amnesia Rebirth, I'm building myself up to the horror games. I'm using Pumpkin Jack as my stepping stone up to something a little bit creepier. But yeah, absolutely agree. Pumpkin Jack, I've just done like an hour and a half of it this evening. I was excited just from the look of it, but until you play it, you really can't appreciate. It's just that kind of like old school nostalgic kind of platforming gameplay. Reminds me of like back in a Spyro or Crash Bandicoot type game style.
Did you ever play Medieval?
Yes, I got that a lot on stream. A lot of people said Medieval. Yeah, exactly. So it's like taking that old school nostalgia stuff. You get that kind of old school gameplay, like really like wholesome soundtrack. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing, by the way. So you get all of that old school kind of gameplay, but with this new RTX graphics. The camera system doesn't suck. Like all of those things that make nostalgic gaming bad, you've got all of those nice parts just thrown into this, which is really cool. And it was great to see the games returning. And I think they're kind of like creepy survival game. They're not like horror games, but they are kind of creepy survival games that people may be looking to play around Halloween. So they've potentially just gone, okay, how do we just not kind of cash in, but get as much exposure as we can around the season where people are looking to play this. Oh, didn't we opt out of GeForce Now? We should probably go back to that and just say yes, please. So yeah, it's great to see publishers keep coming back kind of almost week by week at this point.
Yeah. Again, GeForce Now is doing some really good stuff. By the way, just want to give a shout out to this website. Now, if you guys follow cloud gaming, if you guys are looking for a good website to just stay up to date with all of the cloud gaming news, this is where I'm showcasing the news that we're talking about now. So go to Cloudy with a Chance of Games. Again, Avery, it's crazy how quick they are to update this with cloud gaming news. So again, if you guys are busy, not able to watch a full YouTube video about news, definitely, and you guys want like a quick hit with the cloud gaming news, check out Cloudy with a Chance of Games for the news. But Chief, what's your take on the 11 games coming to GeForce Now this week, sir?
Yeah, I think it's a great get. 3 day one releases is huge. I think for any platform. I think just these basic announcements overshadowed some other event this week, but we'll come on to that. Amnesia Rebirth. I've been tracking this title for quite a while, and I'm still debating on whether to hop into it because I'm not a
Does it
massive
make
horror
you
fan
scared,
either.
bro?
But
Is that why you're not playing it?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Since Doom 3 with the jump scares, I think kind of put me off quite a lot of games. But yeah, I'm all for the fun kind of aspect. I don't mind a few jump scares, but when they're building you up purposely for it, and you still get scared by it. But anyway, and seeing a load of titles coming back to the platform is always great. The only thing I'm not quite sure about is the free Epic games don't seem to be here this week. They're not announced, and they don't seem to have come onto the platform. We're a few days after. Normally, they're there kind of the day or the day after. So I'm not quite sure why. They're not really massive titles this week, so I'm a bit unsure why, after it's been quite consistent week after week of at least one of those Epic free games coming to the platform, why they're not there this week. Maybe it's because they were concentrating more on Pumpkin Jack, because they've been bigging that up quite a lot with the ray tracing and DLSS. So it's a bit weird why those Epic games are missing, but otherwise, 11 games, you can't moan. It's a solid get for Geforce Now this week.
Yeah, 11 games is a lot, and I think they are being consistent. I think last week as well, they had 11 or a high number. But again, it's pretty cool to see NVIDIA just keep, every week, they just keep, bringing us some good news. People might complain and say, yeah, the games could be better. We're not seeing any true AAA titles, but the fact that we're seeing, this is 3 same-day release on PC games. You gotta give them some kudos for that. I swear my neighbor just decides to fix his car when we're about to kick off the podcast. But anyway, Carpern1 says that GeForce Now has claimed 2 mil subscribers. Is this new news or is this?
Nah, this was not long after they
Okay.
came out of beta.
Yeah.
So you would imagine that they're still progressing, but we've not heard any kind of figures on subscribers since then, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Only, again, this was announced. That's what I was thinking too, right before it kicked off. So now I'm surprised they haven't announced an updated number. But cool. Oh man, my neighbor is killing me here, y'all. Killing me. All right. So just want to continue again. Polaris sucks. Just want to say thank you for the shout outs. Again, like I stated, whatever you guys contribute here is distributed amongst all the members of the channel. But again, thank you. You said Stadia needs to do better and get left behind. We will talk about Stadia here in a bit, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about that. So let's move over. Again, if I'm missing something when it comes to GeForce, are y'all hearing that? Just let me know if you guys are hearing that, because it's absolutely driving me mad.
A little bit.
Okay. So annoying. All right, so let's get to the Stadia news. As you guys know, there's a big event called Stadia Good Stuff, and this was, or actually happened. So it's a 3-day event that took place, right? And so they showcased some surprises, right? 3 being demos. So just want to talk to you guys in the panel about this event. We're going to start off by just getting your overall thoughts, and then I also want to know about the demos, all 3 of them, if you guys actually got a chance to play them, and also how would you rate the event. But this is the question I'm going to be asking you guys. So to get started, let's start with you, Jerry. What's your take on this event, and how would you rate it?
I went into it more hyped than I was when I came out of it on the other end, and that was kind of my biggest issue. I don't like to go into an event really hyped up for it, and then by the end, I'm less excited than I was at the beginning. I want to be more excited, and my highlight was the Immortals demo, just because of the game, not because of Stadia. I don't understand. We got the Ubisoft announcement of the Ubisoft Connect, and I was thinking, and Stadia didn't say anything about it. So I'm thinking, we have something coming on day 3. Like, this has got to be it. Nothing. No Uplay. Even if you can't say anything about Uplay yet, why wouldn't you at least push on the fact that with Ubisoft Connect, you'll now be able to use all of your same saves for multi-platform and push on it just a little more? Because I had said in one of my videos, I'm going to buy more Stadia games now than I was, because my save will be there. And Chief will probably do the same thing. If he's super awesome, he's got a PC coming. Mark got a PC. I almost feel like I'm rubbing off on everybody getting PCs again. I absolutely think it's freaking great. So he's going to want to be able to play that on all kinds of platforms in all areas and have that same save there. And I just think that for me was like a huge missed opportunity, because I was more excited about Ubisoft Connect announcement than I was everything Stadia put out. And that's what kind of got me. Now the marketing, cool. We've really started getting some more marketing, some hype, some tweets, some videos, and they started building that up the past couple of weeks. But everyone in my comments have told me the content wasn't there for the hype whatsoever, and that's what squashed it, and that's how I felt.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Again, we'll come back here and talk more. So much to talk about this event, but want to connect with Holtz and see what's your take on this event, sir.
Like always, my initial reaction with the Connector stage is always disappointment. But I actually walk away and actually think to myself, if I take away the hype that I put towards this, Connect, I did really enjoy it. I still think it was average, but I still really enjoyed it. I finally got my Jedi Fallen Order release date. I've been waiting for this game to come to Stadia forever. When I seen Ark Survival, it's one game that I always delete off my hard drives. I always get it free on other services, and I always delete them. So to come to cloud like Geforce now or Stadia for Pro is a game that I'm least going to try. And of course, when I think about my younger family members, they love Hello Neighbor. So getting this Hello Engineers, where it follows a bit of small group of kids inventing stuff to survive in an abandoned theme park, it really interests me as a person who considers trying to get my younger family members in a sort of cloud game. And then when I look at, like, there was a game called I love beat 'em ups, so seeing Young Souls, that art style really captivates me. I'm like, I like that. And that follows a group of twins that have to go underground. There's this magical world where they have to fight goblins, and I like all that kinds of stuff. So I thought to myself, that's something that I really gonna maybe try. I mean, maybe it could be another pro game in the future, but it's something that did captivate me. And then, of course, Phoenix Point. I like XCOM, and my friends like XCOM. So having a tactical turn-based sort of alien invasion game for Stadia will actually hype me up to at least try and get me and my friends to sort of co-op together and play. So when I looked at that and then thought about the Immortals Rise and demo and the likes of Pac-Man, which I would play on the go, I thought to myself, it was a good show. At least give it a 5.
5 out of what, sir?
10.
Okay.
It was a good review.
Okay. So what was your take when you were watching this event? I know you were looking forward to...
Initially, first, of course, I named loads of Bandai Namco games. I really wanted a huge support from Capcom. Of course, I wanted FIFA.
Yeah.
Them games, that's what I wanted.
Okay.
But when I look at it and think to myself, the games that are coming, especially the ones that are being announced for next year, it is actually bulking my Stadia library up now for next year. And of course, Stadia can't do wrong, nothing for the fall. But of course, if they wanted to score more points, they should have announced, of course, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, FIFA 21 for me.
Okay, so when you were watching the event and you saw the Star Wars Jedi, surprisingly enough, that was the only EA game they showed in that event, even though they showed us a trailer with others in it, right? So again, that's still scratching my head about that. But when you saw that trailer, you were hyped up, I'm assuming, about Star Wars Fallen Jedi.
It's a game that I would want to play on Stadia, yes, because I have not played it before.
But what's your take on the release date coming out in November?
Of course, I really wanted to push towards the end of October, before all the big titles, to be fair, because that game is going to get overshadowed. It is a bit late in Stadia's release. I did expect it a lot earlier, but, I'm giving it a bit of slack because of the situation the world's in. But it is what it is. But I'm finally glad that there's a date there now.
Okay, good to know. Again, Holtzman, just love hearing your take on some of this. I think you might be the I mean, you had some positive stuff to say, so I'm curious to see what others have to say. But Mark, I watched your video, man. Couldn't stop laughing about your recap on this Stadia event. But what's your take on it, man?
Thank you. I tried to keep it very equal. It wasn't just a Stadia bashing video. We called out some of the stuff, that, the positives, which there were some. We discussed this last week. We were talking about our expectations for the event. And as we usually do with these kind of things, because of previous connects in the past, we try to rein in those expectations. And I feel like even going in with those reined in lower expectations, they still didn't quite meet that for me, unfortunately. I think we've seen them become a victim of their own PR and marketing once again. They overhyped the previous Connect for the amount of content that we got. A lot of people kind of agreed with that. Maybe they thought there's some bad blood with the whole branding of the Connect. So it just seems like they renamed it. They stretched it out over 3 days. They called it something else. They overhyped it and they underdelivered again. So it's the same as a Connect. If you add up those 3 videos together, it equals what their previous Connects were, unfortunately. Yeah, the biggest thing for me, obviously, is just that there was zero mention of features. We all sat here, and even with our lower expectations, I think every single one of us at least expected Uplay Plus because of its 2020 release date or promised release date. The fact that we're so close to the end of the year, we don't potentially see another event between now and the end of the year, which means either they've got to do this ad hoc event, which is going to be weird. They're going to release it without any kind of event. It's just going to be a blog post, which is going to be underwhelming, or it's delayed. And if it's delayed, they need to let people know because it's going to impact their decision of where they're buying these Ubisoft games, for example. But so a lot of that was negative. I will flip it. I love the introduction of the demo system.
Yeah,
it feels really inclusive to me that it's not just for pro members anymore, because it feels like a big obligation if people want to try it out, to have to sign up to pro to try one of those demos or something. The fact that anyone on any tier, the free tier, can access these demos, it's a great move. They should keep doing that in the future because it will gain them more customers who have thought, you know what, I've never thought of using Stadia before, but I wanted to give this game a try. I'll try it on here. And congratulations, you've got somebody new into cloud gaming. You've got a new Stadia subscriber. And I enjoyed the demos. Like I said, I played a lot of Pac-Man, and Phoenix Immortals Rising is an amazing game. That's the one that I was really hyped for. It's unfortunate that those demos did just leak on the first day. That kind of removed some of the wind from their wings on kind of day one. But yeah, I still enjoyed those demos. So I think I'll leave it there.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks for your input on that. How about you, Chief? What's your take on this, man?
Wow, if people don't watch this channel, then they won't know what my take was on. But I think I made my. I'll give a brief update for those that haven't watched the hour-long disappointment stream, which followed this event, which kind of went on a little bit more than I thought it would have been. Thanks for dropping in, guys. But no, I've got to the point now where I did call it out last week that if certain features weren't announced, that I was going to be extremely annoyed, and I think I made that point very clear when those things did not happen, how disappointed I am. And we thought that the marketing was getting sorted. They came out with 2 great videos showcasing Stadia and how to use it. They really bigged up this 3-day event or 3 day of announcements, and then they leaked the first demo before the stream went live. Then after the first stream, we got the 3 demos that were coming over the 3 days, and this 5-minute, not even premiere video. So it just feels like everything that they built up over the last few weeks was ruined in that first 5-minute video. And it just was so deflating. On the good side, I was really pumped to see Ark Survival coming, especially as a pro game. But I was then again disappointed that they're announcing 2021 games, and we know that they're about 40 titles short of their 120 titles this year. So I was really expecting this event to be pumping out, this game's coming next week, this game's coming next month, these are the 10 titles coming later this year. So for them to be announcing titles in 2021 and not acknowledging the big deficit of games that we're still expecting was another huge disappointment for me. Especially as after the 3-day event, we got 2 announcements which weren't part of the event, which were actually quite big. One was the quality increase on voice chat, which was just a random engineer, thanks to
Right.
Duncan there. And then again with Cloudy spotting that we're getting another game coming to Stadia by the end of the month, which was not mentioned in this 3-day event at all. And it just seems like they still don't know what they are doing, and the marketing team just seems all over the place, and it just seems to be ruining Stadia. But then on the flip side, demos for everyone, that's huge. That was something I think we mentioned before, and quite a lot of people in the community have mentioned before, that when they do these free-to-play weekends, why is it locked to the pro tier? It should be everyone. So the fact that that happened is huge. And then to have the Phoenix Rising demo as an exclusive demo and also an exclusive area to play is fantastic, because now people can just hop in there and not worry about it ruining the game later on, because they've just experienced a portion of the story that they're then going to have to redo later on. And it was just a fantastic showcase. But it did seem like the announcements the week before, the Thursday before, really deflated that event. Things like the Cyberpunk 2077 coming day and date, which it wasn't before, and obviously the Legion cross-save and Ubisoft Connect announcements. So I think that also, as Mark said, fed into, great, are we going to see finally the Uplay Plus announcement, or at least the family share? Because we've got some really cool family games being announced, like Hello Engineer and Phoenix. And then Ubisoft just announced their Uplay Connect, so they're going to really pushing the cross-play, cross-save aspect of everything. We've had the Uplay store teased on Stadia, and then nothing. So it just seems like even if they can't drop it on us right now, these events are the great time to say this is when they're coming. And as Mark said, if they are delaying these features like family sharing and Uplay Plus, they need to just tell us, say it's been delayed to next year. They will get fallout, but I feel like they're getting more negativity because they're not telling us than if they told us that it was delayed. So I think they need to work on their communication. Overall, very disappointed. I think this whole event could have been a blog post, and they could have avoided a lot of this negativity with 3 days of the demos just being announced. Say this day's, the demos are going to drop on these 3 days. The 5-minute videos just seem pointless for me. If they can't hit that premiere button, just don't bother anymore.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I was going to do a video like showcasing the length of the event videos, right? Without someone actually talking, right? Just to see how much like gameplay footage that they actually showcase without, the presenters like rambling. But I do see what you're saying with that. Like this, and I'll get to my part in a bit. But yeah, this could have been easily like not as long as they were making it with these videos, right? They could have made a blog post addressing all of this. But again, I'll get to that. Duncan, I saved you for last because I really want to hear what you have to say about this event, man.
Okay, after my day today, okay. Okay, if you're taking this from 1,000 feet away, there was no marketing, there was nothing, and they dropped these 3 announcements over them 3 days, you will be saying this was a good week for Stadia. There was good stuff there for Stadia this week. Again, what happened was it was hyped up by our sales. It was hyped up by Stadia. Got everybody really, really excited, and it was a whole lot of. It they were good announcements, but they weren't great announcements. And I think we were all wanting something to knock us off our feet, and we didn't actually get something to knock us all out. And again, we're going to go back to the marketing of Stadia here. A lot of people thought Tom Warner leaked this announcement, leaked all the demos. He did not. Stadia sent out the press release and said, here's the free demos which are coming over the days. So and what happened was that just cut the hype out, because at the end of each day it was going to be, this is Pac-Man, this is Humankind, this is Phoenix, and if we got them every single day as the last thing, I think everybody would have been more or less happy with everything. So again, it's a slip up by Stadia marketing again, and it's just extremely frustrating. Again, we've been talking about this. The biggest question mark out from the whole 3 days for me was, why was Baldur's Gate 3 there?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest surprise, disappointment of us all. Is like, and they're announcing a game they've already announced. Oh, okay, it's playable now.
Yeah, and I could understand the Outcasters being there, but why they could have got a load of easy wins there. If they announced Sekiro again, remember Sekiro is coming next week, and it's going to be Game of the Year edition. It's just a bit frustrating. It's just a bit frustrating, just seeing Stadia at times. And I'm assuming we're not going to touch on the other thing that happened after the third day.
For sure, we got to talk about that. We cannot let that go and talk about.
But sorry. But it's just been. The Stadia announcements were good in isolation. It is just the way they were hyped up, and then just releasing everything just made it feel like a complete and utter, anticlimax. I think that was more of it. And we've been left with more questions than we have answers. Where is Ubisoft? And with that Ubisoft Connect being announced, I'm not sure if anybody else picked up on this, but I seen it straight away. It was the free cloud gaming services were separated off. What does that mean? Because if you read the blog post, it's coming to every single one of these platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, blah, blah, blah. And at the bottom, it is coming to Stadia, Luna, and Geforce now at a later date. That has actually, is there some sort of package going to be created for the cloud gaming services or something? There's something going on a bit weird there.
Yeah. This event, I hear you on a lot of those things, Duncan. This is one of those events that, to me personally, is just a head scratcher. Like, still trying to figure out like what was the point of this event, and I seriously still don't know. Again, I just showcased a clip there that was 30 seconds that pretty much clarified all that was in that event. I mean, in a 2-minute video, not to be rude, but I think they could have summarized that whole event. And so, and to like amping it up, again, we talked about this previously. That's the trouble they run into. They hype things up that don't need to be hyped up. 3-day event I mean, 5-minute videos for it's like, why do you even call it 3 days if you're going to show us just a 5-minute video? Anyway, I do want to say, like, when Chief made that live video, we have to look back and give Google credit for what they have done, right? We talked about why we like NVIDIA so much is because they listen in to people and they're making changes and they're trying to better the product. And I feel like Stadia has been doing that. They up their marketing, right? They have been giving us consistent updates every Tuesday. And so we got to give them credit, but at the same time, they just got to learn from events like this. I said in your video, Chief, they should just stop for a little bit until they hire the right person to I mean, you look at the marketing now, I feel like they hired the right person because they are doing it right. So stop until you get someone who knows what the hell they're doing with these shows and then restart them. We need them. I think it's important, but don't put a show that is going to ruin Stadia's reputation. Instead, take a break from it, hire the right person, and get it going to where it will make Stadia better and put it, make it better for the press as well. But that's my take on this whole event, man. So if someone else wants to add to that, feel free to hop on.
And that's one thing that I felt like, if you're going to pay these YouTubers to be ecstatic, at least show them in their own home on the couch, picking up a Stadia controller and showing you the demos. At least see the excitement when they're playing the game. And one thing that I do, and I've mentioned this before, you should have put some competitions in. I think competitions to get, interact with the community is a good thing.
What do you mean by competition?
Like, sort of say, like, why do you like Stadia? What games you're looking for? Cosplayers, Cyberpunk, and just put it all on Twitter and say, this is my Cyberpunk costume. I love Stadia for this, and I'm going to get this, and just give some gifts out.
See, one of the other big gripes that I have with these events is the YouTubers that they picked. Right? When those people came on stream and started talking about all this great stuff for Stadia, I was like, who the hell are you? No offense. I went and looked them up. They've got millions of followers. Great. But they're nothing to do with Stadia. So
I know the guy.
Yeah, so I didn't know either of them. And when I looked up the girl, she is Sims 4 and Among Us, 2 games that are definitely not on Stadia. And it's great that they're trying to look for a separate market. But again, I would like to see more pro Stadia, YouTubers to help push these events. I feel like sometimes it just seems like they're just picking random people, and then those random people, it seems like, are forcing some excitement and some drive over Stadia because they're getting paid to do it, and they thought, oh crap, I need to go and play this platform and see what it's like. So, whereas if they picked people from the community or larger people that were doing it, then that excitement is genuine.
You had that today or yesterday with the Kind of Funny guys, and they were going, oh, we're playing this in Stadia, and then a couple of minutes later on their own stuff, really like Stadia. So
0 games for me said it was so fake, and I think this goes with what Chief was talking about. You can tell it was almost cringeworthy. That's what I'm saying. Like, take them out, I think, and just make a montage video showcasing the features and the demos. That's pretty much what they needed. But Zero, I agree 100%. And 007 said Pac-Man competition live. I think this was what you were kind of referring to, would have been a good take for this event too.
A little tournament. Get a little Pac-Man 64-player tournament going.
Right.
That would have been awesome.
But then you would need to be able to invite people into the game.
Or whoever gets the highest score in the fastest time within the demo wins a prize.
And you need to be able to stream it to YouTube.
Just want to highlight, Duncan, you are loved. Sorry, just want to point this out for sure.
Thanks, Warlock. It's really appreciated at this moment in time.
Cool. All right, so anyone else want to add to this Stadia news? I do want to talk about this controversial tweet that I'm sure
just before we get onto that.
Yeah.
Rock, you are a great advocate of Stadia and everything. So I do want to just point out that it just feels to me that they can't do right for doing wrong. They're finding their way in a new sector and an audience that's 1 foot trad. You have to explain that. And 1 foot in the cloud. They have done amazing in a year. And this is what Ace was saying earlier. We give them some dues. If you look back to where we were a month after launch, no Android devices, barely being able to get codes out the door. They have come a long way, but it does feel like they're still a software company trying to be a gaming company.
Right.
And I think they need to learn their lessons from these events and just listen to the community, because it does feel like before they've ignored the community quite a lot, but it does seem like they're starting to take that on board now. So hopefully they will progress. But yeah, any publicity is good publicity.
Right. So I'm kind of curious. I almost wish like I worked for the Stadia team, because I know for Microsoft, right? The CEO, he's the type of guy that's like, tell me what you need, like financially, I'll give you whatever you need, and I'll let you do whatever, you feel comfortable doing. It's like a hands-off approach. Just he trusts the developers and all of Microsoft. So tell if I'm saying his name correctly. My thing with Stadia is as big as Google, is this company. Is that where I wonder, like, if Phil Harrison just like ran Stadia without like Google like influencing their stuff, I wonder how much more successful Stadia would be, right? And I think that's why we see Microsoft, because they pretty much can do anything they want and not have to worry about like, going through the CEO to get things done. I think there's a lot of hoops that, the Stadia team might have to go around to make, stuff available or work well for Stadia. And I think that might be the issue that we're running into with all this marketing and all of this stuff issues that Stadia is having. Sure. But Rock, I do agree, man. We gotta, give Stadia some props. I mean, they've only been out for a year, and again, this fall lineup is pretty sick, right? We talked about Cyberpunk, we talked about Valhalla, we talked about Legions. I mean, they have a killer fall lineup, and this is a platform or a console, if you want to call it that has been out for just a year. So, gotta give them some kudos for sure. Okay. Anyone else want to add to that? Feel free.
I will give you some breaking news here, or tiny breaking news. We've actually got a Stadia jobs listing for one of their one of their studios, and
It's not the Montreal studio, is it?
It is the Montreal studio.
Oh, shoot.
Is it
So
creative director?
It's not creative director. It's actually just went on. So if anybody from Stadia sources watching, there you go. It's on LinkedIn at the moment, because I'm not going to be putting it on at the time being.
Someone check Alex's Twitter real quick and see if he still has Google.
That's his title changed.
Yeah, but this is actually the first time I've actually seen jobs actually advertised for for Stadia games and entertainment. But it looks like what the game they're building is a complete multiplayer game as well. So there you go. There's some positive Stadia news as well. The fact they're starting to actually advertise for their first party studios.
There we go. There we go. Some positive. Anyone else want to add to this before we move on? All right, so we're going to talk about this Alec Hutchinson guy and this tweet that pretty much broke the internet on election night in the United States of America. This was trending #1, not just in the US, but globally too. So this
At the eve of their third day of good stuff.
good stuff, just to throw that in there. So Alex says the real truth is that streamers should be paying devs and publishers of the games that they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use. And Chief, you kind of went into this in that live stream, but just want to get a feedback of the people watching and also of the people of this panel. What's your take on this? I'm really curious to hear what. All right, so I'm going to start with Mark, because again, he covered this, and I seriously was dying watching this video. So if you guys haven't watched that yet, please do. But Mark, what's your take on this, man?
I think collectively the internet has let their opinions of this dude be known. It just the entire idea is extremely antiquated and feels so uncreative for somebody whose job title was a creative director on a platform. There was a lot of confusion in terms of his job title. Obviously, he's the creative director at a Stadia studio. He's not the creative director of Stadia, but he's still in a position to influence, games on a platform which is supposed to be so futuristic and forward thinking and the next stage in gaming. And his thinking is just so backwards in terms of this, because there's such a unified relationship that's just kind of unspoken, and it's always worked, where content creators, streamers, people just like us need, or they want content to play and stream and upload to YouTube and Twitch and all of these places. They want to share this content with the community, and it works extremely well in parallel with the developers, because they are getting this, if you show that you're really enjoying the game and show some of the awesome features in it, that developer is going to is going to get sales from it, basically. And I think Among Us was a fantastic example of this. It's a game from 2018. It was very much under the radar. And then suddenly this year, a big streamer played it, and it's now one of the most downloaded games,
Right.
of the year. So that just shows that positive relationship that exists between content creators and developers. And content creators, if they're just uploading raw gameplay footage of a game, then his point maybe stands true. You are just taking their content, their intellectual property, and just uploading it without doing anything. But when you stream a game and you record a video of you playing it, you add your commentary over the top, it's fair usage. It is absolutely not under whatever copyright laws he's trying to suggest in this backwards tweet. So yeah, it was like Chief said, it was unfortunate that this broke the internet on the eve of an event called Good Stuff, because this was not a good tweet.
Not
And
at all.
also, to him, updating your bio after the fact does not help.
A little too late, right? Yeah. That's crazy. Again, check out Mark's video on that. You use some profanity in there that just had me dying. I'm not gonna say it on there, but check it out if you haven't yet. But Jerry, what's your take on this news, man?
Mark's pretty much got it there, but I mean, it's not 2009. We've already gone through this kind of thing a long time ago. Even as strict as Nintendo is, they've had to give up on some things. And I think almost all developers know that you get a lot more game sales and interaction with your games. And Mark's point of Among Us, I'm going to say another one is Fall Guys would have never taken off the way it did if it wasn't streamed. Who the hell would care? No one would really be, they'd play it. It wouldn't be the popularity. I mean, Tim the Tap Man had like 800,000 views in one day because he hadn't had a win yet. You think that many people would see Fall Guys any other way? So this guy's just nuts. Everybody knows that you gain a lot more from having that content. And I don't really care if you just take and play a game and upload that video. It's still an art form. You still played that game in a different manner than anybody else would play it each time. It's still each person's own experience. It's nothing like music or movies or anything like that. Every time you load up a game and play it, it's going to be different, and it's its own art form anyway. And of course, if you're streaming it, you're commentating it. It's just, the whole tweet was ridiculous. And I talk about killing hype for Stadia on their last day of good stuff. This was not good stuff.
Not good stuff at all. All right, how about you, host? What's your take on this, man?
I don't mind his opinion. He was allowed to have it, and the way I seen it is maybe him and developers or studios or people in the past was just seeing it as a different revenue stream to make. Of course, he shouldn't have said it when relating it to a company he works with or a service he was trying to promote, because a lot of people sort of backlashed his view, which is a good way, speak with your wallets and speak with your mind, and tell the industry how you want the industry to go. But he's allowed to voice where he believed the industry was going to go. But of course, with all the backlash, we have actually seen that gamers, streamers, and certain game development companies don't want this. And it's great that Stadia, YouTube, and Google stood back and actually said, I disagree with this.
Right. True. That was really key.
But you see, maybe in the future, maybe we could actually see streaming services, like Streamlabs and all that, sell you a premium package where it includes small little licenses that goes to fund small developing teams, because not every developing studio has the limelight like these Fall Guys or these games. So maybe he was just coming from a bigger picture of the industry. Maybe it could be an option in the future, but at the moment it wasn't the right thing to say, and we all disagree with it.
True. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on this?
Okay. I'm more in line with what Mark was sort of saying. I believe for the absolutely 99.9% of games out there, streaming absolutely helps. He has a point with the very, 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 very minute one off it. The two things I think he has done wrong here. First, everybody's entitled to your opinion, but as what we have discussed before, both on here and offline, if you put Stadia in the name, even though it's your own personal account, you are speaking for Stadia and you're going to bring attention to it. And he is paying the costs for that, and Stadia are paying the costs for that. You put that in there, that's what happens. If Major Nelson said something like this, it wouldn't be Major Nelson getting shouted at, it would be Xbox getting shouted at as well. So it doesn't matter what company or any, this would be equal opportunities. And the second massive mistake he did was he did it on the last day of the good stuff, and all that good stuff. And believe it or not, that day with the Phoenix Immortals Phoenix Rising,
Right.
Gods and Monsters, much better name, so much better name. It was getting overlooked because Stadia was trending because of him, and that was an absolute disgrace that he actually came out with that. It's not we can have a debate about his opinion. I think that's fair enough. But as soon as you do that with your name and stuff, it's not good. And because of this, I'm not sure if anybody else has seen, they've been dragging up his history as well. It is not making Stadia look good at all. And if the media was really wanting to hammer Stadia, all they would have to do is bring up the tweets of the other people as well, especially the marketing team, and then Stadia will be in a hell of a lot more trouble.
Right. True. By the way, I do want to say Brian from Club Stadia and Chase from Stadia Talk, they did I think it's like a night show addressing this issue. If you guys haven't checked out that video, dude, Chase was on here, as you guys know, and he's very informative when it comes to stuff like this. And it was pretty cool. It's like Brian was interviewing Chase, and Chase had some really good points about this issue. So again, if you guys haven't checked that out, do. But yeah, I agree, man, Duncan. This was not good, especially the timing for sure. But Chief, I think we know how you feel about this situation. So I don't know if you have any more you want to add to it, but
yeah, it was just echoing some of the other points, Yeah, and Jojo Narak, you got the comment up here. Most devs want their game streamed. That's right. Most of the devs give their games to big streamers or even pay big streamers to stream their game because of the influence that they have. So I think it's very backwards that this guy came out with this tweet. And yeah, it massively overshadowed. Everybody was so positive over the Phoenix Rising demo. There was loads of content out there. There's loads of positive tweets on it, and it was just completely drowned out by this guy. Just extremely bad timing. And for him to for Google and YouTube and stuff to say, we disagree with them, great. That was good that they put them in the limelight and said, we don't agree with this guy's opinion. For him to change his bio to the actual studio that he was doing is one thing, but I've seen people get fired for a lot less than this. This was a really stupid move, and we've seen it from other people within Stadia as the marketing team, as we've said before. The Marvel, I've said it on the other stream, one of the directors or head honchos for Stadia marketing playing Marvels on another platform the week of the Stadia Marvels release is just, it doesn't seem like the marketing team or the people who have access to these accounts are behind their own platform. So to me, I would just get rid of them. Get people in who believe your platform, believe your company. You can't promote something and be successful if your own employees are not on board with it. And it just seems like there's a lot of employees with Google and Stadia that are not on board the Stadia train, and they need to be. It needs to come from within. Passion for a product needs to be there from within. You can't force it on people, and it seems like they've got other intentions, and it just doesn't seem to be working for me. So I'll leave it there.
So again, like I mentioned, good point on that, Chief. But like I mentioned, how like separated Google is, thinking about like working for Google as well. Just I think Google might not even have an idea of who this guy is, or even feel. Let's just even make it to a smaller target. Like Phil Harrison, the guy in charge of Stadia, he might not even know who this guy is. And again, I think the whole separation and how Google operates as a company might be the reason why these miscommunication and even marketing is an issue for them. Again, just thoughts with that. But anywho,
And this is coming off the back of Stadia paying those two streamers to promote all their products as well, which is fun. And I'm not sure if anybody's seen today, a big European streamer was a big, massive Nintendo European streamer was streaming Stadia today, and it had the big, massive includes paid promotion. I wonder who's paying him. Do you think it's Ubisoft or do you think it's Stadia?
it's a great. I haven't seen that, but that'll be great to know for sure. That's really, really interesting. But like Iraq was saying earlier, man, it almost feels like they just can't do it right? So let's hope that they can figure this out when it comes to marketing. But let's go. Anything else with this Alex guy that you guys want to add to this? If not, we have so much more to cover. But let anyone just feel free to hop on and let me know. If not, moving on to the next thing that we have here, which is Amazon Luna. So you guys know this is quite interesting, and I put a tweet up about this as well. Amazon Luna officially released for beta this week, actually, on the day of Google Stadia's event. And so again, I tweeted out saying that this is quite interesting, this happening right when Stadia has an event, and then last year Microsoft released Xcloud beta news right before Stadia released or launched, right? So I think it's interesting. It just shows to me personally that they actually do consider Stadia a threat and they want to kind of poop on the parade. But let's talk about this Amazon Luna's release. Has anyone on this panel, and people in the comment, let me know too, if you've actually got your free access to try this out. It's not free. Why am I saying free? You actually have to pay to test this out, right?
No, it's free for a week.
Oh, it's free for a week. I thought I heard someone saying they had to pay $5.99 to get on it. It's good to know. Well, you guys heard it from Duncan. It's free. But anyone in the panel, what's your take, number one, on the launch of this being a day that Google Stadia is having an event? And also if you guys have actually tried this out and tested it out for yourself. So to get started, Holtz, what's your take on the Amazon release?
Well, I think it was actually great that they snuck in on that day when the competition was actually demonstrating their stuff. So it's good for them, especially for the people who actually got access to it. And what I've seen is people are quite positive. Because I'm UK based, I have not personally had any access to it. But I was watching the great guys on Lunacast with Ashes to Ashes demonstrate the user interface and showing what games are listed. And I was quite impressed, and it made me a bit jealous that I don't have access to it. So if sort of Amazon can sort of push it forward a little bit for us Europeans, I would like to sort of jump into this platform and try the games that I'm interested with, especially with their new controller.
Yeah. So before we go to the next person, I think it's just a small limit of people who have access to this, because like a lot of people that I know personally who apply for this in the US still don't have access. So my fear is, how long is this going to take to get to other countries, right? Holtz, you're saying that you want to test this out. My goodness, if they can't fulfill the people in the US, right, how long is it going to take to get to you? which is a big concern.
It is going to be a bit long. And at the moment, of course, as I'm a different type of gamer from the rest of us, I wish the library was a bit more flush to cater for someone like me. And of course, I know it's in the beta, but at the moment, I would like to see more accessibility options that you could see in the likes of Prime Video.
True.
Rollover effects, different color changes, voiceovers, and anything else that needs for the gaming platform. If someone like Amazon is going to push it, they need to push it correctly.
Right. True. Duncan, what's your take on this, sir?
Yeah, we had a big discussion about this last week, and I am extremely excited about this. You may know or may not know, but yeah, it's. I wasn't shocked it came this week. I maybe went out on a limb and said I was semi-expecting it this week pass because of the Stadia event, and I think they are playing an absolute blinder at this moment in time. I think they're going for the old Nintendo approach here. They're limiting the numbers of the people who are in the beta to drive a bit of demand, because how many out from the panel here want to get it? I do. And what's that doing? It's driving a bit of hype, because if you look on their Twitter account, which has been very, very active, you go, I want a code, I want a code, I want a code. So I think they're doing a bit of building up the hype as well. And even over this first week, they've already dropped a big announcement. I'm not sure if you've seen, New World is coming to Luna Plus, and it is actually on there highlighted, and you can actually see it. So they're already dropping their first party games straight onto Luna Plus. So again, I think this means they're going to be going Game Pass Ultimate sort of route. They're just going to drop all their games there. So it is extremely exciting. And Ashes to Ashes, it's also demonstrated the controller. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
Oh, wait, he has the controller?
Oh, he has the controller, and it is exactly how I wanted it.
Nice.
I'll drop you the link here just in 1 second.
Yeah, drop it. I can play it while this is going on.
Basically, you hook the controller up and you just switch from device to device. You don't have to pair it up. So absolutely amazing stuff. So I'll get that now. I'll let someone else talk.
Yeah. All right. So let's check in with Jerry. What's he taking an Amazon release of?
As we wait for our invitation, I'm waiting for which one of us hits Discord first and says, "I freaking got it."
I got it. Yeah.
You know, and I think it was in Discord like Monday, a couple days before the good stuff event. I said to you guys, "Watch, Amazon's gonna throw some Luna out as soon as good stuff starts."
You did say that,
and I knew they were gonna do it, and they did. And the only frustrating thing is the limit. It's so limited, and I don't know if it's the hype building train like Duncan's talking about, or if it's what Marchief has been more talking about, where it's just flat out not ready. So they only gave it to limited people that they knew would get the hype going while Stadia was doing their good stuff. It's got to be one of those two, right? So, but I am really excited to see what it's going to do. Exclusives, that is always a big thing. Been griping about that with Stadia since day one. The fact that they are calling it early access, even if you got to pay $5.99, we all know that's an early access price. It's going to go up probably to what, like $9.99 or something. It's going to go down. You think it's going to go down? Come on,
it's this point below. It's the people who seem to have got in initially have got at least 500 to a gig internet, because it's one of the questions.
I got 500 gigs, man. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
500 meg to a gig.
I was going to say, you haven't got gigs. You haven't got gigabits.
One gig.
So they want the best of the best experience, right? So there's so many different reasons why it is so limited. Of course, hype, and also with NVIDIA's RTX 3080, that was artificially limited on purpose for hype. That's pretty well known across the internet now. That's not even a rumor anymore. PlayStation 5, I don't think they're purposely limiting it, but the fact that you cannot get it means everybody wants it. So that
Yeah.
kind of mentality does work. When you put something out and then only a couple people can have it and you say no one else can, everybody wants it then. And that's just
Yeah.
kind of how it goes. So, but I'm really excited for Luna. I can't wait to check it out. And the thing with the controller, I saw that and I've been waiting for that with Stadia. Why do I have to repair this every single time I change the device? Why can I not just take it around with me and do what I want to do? So really exciting to see what Amazon's doing here.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. How about you, Mark? What's your take on this, man?
Yeah, I mean, we all saw this coming miles off that they were going to do something during this week. I think it's a good show that, you know, they're smart with their marketing. Something we're not quite seeing with Stadia, that they didn't have to spend weeks and weeks building hype for this. They did the announcement of Luna at their Amazon hardware event, and then it went so quiet. Even the silence built hype for them. Like, it's all very strategic.
Yeah.
And then that silence followed by this just small, people are getting access. It wasn't a massive announcement. It wasn't like, you know, 3 days of 5-minute videos or anything like that. It was just this small kind of whisper of, by the way, we're going to let some people in. And that was enough to blow it up. And it's very smart in terms of marketing. And I like what I'm seeing so far. You know, we've got it up on the screen here. The UI looks very clean. It looks very user friendly. I'm loving the Twitch integration on that game page. It's probably one of my favorite things so far, is that so it's kind of like looking through Netflix, for example, looking for something to watch. You can just jump into somebody's Twitch stream and watch them play it for a bit, kind of, you know, interact with them and get their opinions. Like, oh, I'm thinking of playing this, because I can instantly get into it. No downloads, anything like that. Like, I'm thinking of playing this. What do you think so far? You can just ask them that question. They say if it's worth it or not. You jump straight in, and that's a fantastic future that I want to be in. And it just shows that just like how well those two services coincide and work together, you know, Luna and Twitch, and the way Twitch streamers have a platform to play their games on if they don't have the right hardware. And Luna is going to support and is going to promote Twitch streamers, because their streams are going to be right there on the title page. And it's something, again, we're missing with Stadia, the live streaming features, and them supporting you know, like we've said with their Good Stuff event, them supporting just their average streamers, content creators, or just users, without them being, content creators with millions of subscribers who probably don't even use the service.
Yeah. Truth. By the way, guys, this is Ashes to Ashes YouTube channel, and he has a good overview, 21-minute overview of actually what Luna looks like with the UI and everything. So if you guys want to check that out, go check it out. But I'm going to have this playing while we talk. But Chief, you said you have a lot to say about Luna. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. What's your take on this?
Yeah, so we've got a comparison up with some of the work from Ashes to Ashes versus some of the Stadia games and the UI. Now, the more I've been following Luna, the more weird things I'm seeing. So I'll come on to that in a minute. But, fair play to them jumping on the We Hate Stadia train. Because, it's almost like they knew Stadia were going to screw up slightly with their event. And there they are, with the hype train for Amazon Luna as a direct competitor, right up there, right off the bat. So well done to them. Now, I don't quite get what's going on with Luna. The interface looks good on the surface, but as soon as you start drilling down into it, I see the same issues that we have with the Geforce Now layout with the channels. So you've got each line of the UI is like a channel segment, and half of them are actually repeated over and over again in the editor's picks, the indie titles, the free-to-play or whatever. So actually, when you look at that UI, you're actually seeing quite a lot of the same games, like 3 or 4 times in one UI. So there's definitely some UI UX elements that they need to work on there, and they're definitely going down this channel route. And as Rock pointed out, when you have the Ubisoft channel come in later, you don't have to be a Luna Plus subscriber to have the Ubisoft channel. So you could just play the Ubisoft channel. The controller is a big thing for me, and I'm getting a lot of stick for it on my comparison video for saying this is exactly what Stadia should have done from day one, because the controller doesn't connect directly to the internet. Now, apparently it does, but you still got to pair it. So I may have got that slightly wrong, but that pairing is bloody annoying if you have to switch screens. And I actually end up switching screens more than I thought I ever would. So that really winds me up having to do that, because you have to turn the controller off, you have to turn it back on, make sure you get the 10-second window to enter that code and for it to recognize it. Otherwise, it just pairs to whatever screen it was before. That's something a lot of people don't say about, but it gets really frustrating if it doesn't pick that code up the first time, or it just vibrates at you like you've done something really badly wrong. So for Luna to come out and say, we're going to pair directly to the internet and you just play. I never understood why Stadia didn't do that, because it just seemed to make sense. If it's paired to their cloud system, what does it matter what screen I'm on? I'm playing the game. The game is where my controller should be going, not that screen or that screen. Now, when it comes to multiple controllers and multiple separate accounts, which is what Luna's going to do, I'm quite interested to see how they differentiate that. Because if there's two people playing and you've got two Luna controllers, how does it know which game you're going to play? So I can see why Google kind of did it from that aspect, because if we ever had family share, it would make more sense, because now you're pairing this controller to my lounge TV and this controller to my dining room TV, because two people are playing separate accounts. So it seems like Stadia might have something right, but because family sharing isn't there, it doesn't make sense. Whereas Luna's the other way around at the moment, where it makes perfect sense to the way the controller's working, except if two people are allowed to access the same Luna account, how does it know which game you're playing? So it will be very interesting there. The weirdest point that I see is that there was so much hype over Luna. You know, we all want to get access to it. We're all content creators. We want to be able to go and play, right? But if you look at this Twitch streamer, so Ashes to Ashes has been streaming this pretty much non-stop every single day since he got access to it. And there was another streamer who covered on our comparison of Duobug, who again has been streaming it on and off since day one. But you've got it highlighted here. He streamed this Luna access, 3 days ago? 500 views. So where's all the hype for Luna? Because if you look at these very few people that actually have access to it, they're not getting a lot of attention and they're not getting a lot of views. So where's all the Luna hype audience? Where is it? Because with such a small amount of people having access to it, you'd expect there'd be a lot of attention on them. So I'm a little bit confused about where all this hype's coming from, and apart from the creator community, because obviously we all want it because we want to see how it compares to all the others, but it almost seems like the rest of the world or the rest of the audience don't really seem to care for it, or at least not while it's in this very limited access, because after the first day, even then, it didn't get a massive amount of attention, but the attention doesn't seem to be there anymore, apart from on the Twitter account. So I just thought I'd bring that up. But overall, I'm quite interested to see how it plays. With 1080p being, all that they're touting at the moment, but 4K coming in future, cross-play, cross-save, all that stuff that needs to come later. But at the moment, it just seems like it's all hype, no action. So until we get our hands on it, I'll leave it there. But obviously, we've got the comparison. The speed looks good. And I think, as I said in that video, Stadia is losing a lot of its USPs to Luna. So Stadia
Define what USB is. I don't think a lot of people...
Unique selling points. Okay. So Stadia we always called it reliable, the speed demon, right? It's the fastest of anything. Click to play, streaming, like crowd play, all this. Luna is coming out in early access with click to play from a stream. Watch your streamer, watch your YouTube, watch your Twitch streamer play, click a button, you can be playing that game. You can stream directly to it. You've got your speed. in all the speed tests, Luna has been on par, if not slightly ahead of Stadia's launch speeds. And they've got all these games. They're going to be coming out with more games than what Stadia's had built over this year. So I think Luna is a severe threat to Stadia, and if they carry on this speed, which I've made known, I don't think they can. I don't think they're going to hit this year. And that's my other big concern, is they keep touting Watch Dogs Legion. Legion's only a couple of weeks away from launch, and they have not given enough people access to test this platform yet. So how can they tout having a game that's not released yet when the platform won't release? Anyway, I said I had a lot to say, so sorry.
You're good.
I'll let other people speak.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say it's not going to be Watch Dogs Legion. It looks like it's going to be Valhalla.
Main game.
I'm sure on that main graphic is Legion.
Yeah, Legion is there, but it looks like they haven't mentioned Legion as being a launch title. The wording seems to be more indicating it's going to be Valhalla. So we're arguing over like 2 weeks, but
I personally would I would want Legion, Valhalla, and Immortals. So if Ubisoft are going to promote all three, because I'll be watching.
There you go.
My understanding would be that Legion is going to be there, but like Duncan is saying, Legion launches on the 29th. That's not when Luna is going to be out. So Legion will be there, but it's not on Watch Dogs launch day. Luna won't launch with Legion, but Legion will be there with Luna.
Yeah, I guess so.
That makes sense.
Yeah, good point. But if that's 6 months down the line, everybody would have completed it already.
So Lise here says, I doubt Luna will get huge attention until release on cheap Fire tablets. So I think this might be Amazon's way to push this. Like I said, add it to Prime and then use what sells well, which is their Fire tablets and Fire sticks, and market it that way. So I do think you have something here. But I'll be honest with you guys, I actually was disappointed with what I saw with Luna. Realistically speaking, and something that disappoints me is the game library. Out of all those games, I'm just like, I don't want to play this. Like, no, thank you. And I look at what Stadia is doing. I was like, I'd rather pay to play Cyberpunk. I'd rather pay to play, Legions. I'd rather pay to play Red Dead Redemption than play all these old games. And so, honestly speaking, the tech seems like it needs some work. The tech seems that like it can get there, but the game selection is just not doing it for me, man.
The game selection, especially with 1080, just reminds you what you'll find on the Switch.
Yeah.
And you can take that Switch with you without no internet access. Well, depends if you've got a big memory card, but that's the way I see it at the moment.
Right. Anyway, we still have Xcloud to cover. We got it in time. But if anyone else wants to hop in here in the panel with Luna, if we
I mention about the views, because I think that was Chief that was saying the low view count, and we're seeing that across the board with Luna. But I'm also had mentioned that I'm seeing that a lot with Stadia too. Of course, they're getting more views, but if you go and compare the attention even they're getting or Luna, and then you go and look at every video out on the PS5, the Xbox Series X, even a lot of the Xcloud stuff, RTX 3080, 3090, 3070, 3060 Ti, and AMD is getting ready to launch all of their stuff, and there's going to be plenty of it. So there's only so much attention that people have. There's only and all the hype right now, because consoles only hit every 6-7 years, is in consoles and video cards. It's not in cloud gaming. It will be, and I love to see what's going on right now, but there's just everybody's watching the console releases and the GPU releases and the CPUs. It's a killer tech year, and to spread all that out, it's hard to grab attention when you're someone like Luna, but I like what I see.
So do you think that this shows the wrong time to be pushing cloud gaming for everyone, not just Stadia?
I don't think it's necessarily the wrong time. I think that we have different sections where we have a cloud gaming group and then we have gamers. And they're always trying to pull more of us over to use cloud gaming as our main. We know we have a couple billion gamers on the planet. We have 1 billion PC gamers, and we have over 200 million console gamers. But when it comes to cloud, we always say, oh, they got 1 million, they got 2 million, and it sounds like a big number, but it's nothing. And they just have a long ways to go to build that. But there's no good or bad time. You just got to start. You know, like you guys said, Stadia's come a long way in a year. Oh my gosh, my opinion of Stadia when I first got it to now is definitely a lot different. It's not where I want it, but it's a lot different than it was. So I don't think there's a good or a bad time. I just think that right now everybody's attention is on PS5 and Xbox and stuff and the GPUs. So
True. Good point.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo some of that. There is going to be no good time to start pushing cloud gaming, because if you're, there's always going to be something. If you put it like mid-gen of the next gen, they're just going to be absolutely 100% in their stride, and that means they will have the cloud services will have to be knocking it out in the park to get people to have a look. There is no good time to do it. It's about just getting it out there and just start building and building and building. And we're seeing that, and Xbox, which we're coming on to now, are in a real good position here to take advantage of it.
True. Agreed. But just want to give a shout outs to the guy who did this video, and his name is Ashes, and he's on here. And again, he did an incredible job covering this. So if y'all were interested, definitely check out his YouTube channel. He, like Chief was saying, I think streaming this a lot since the release. So check out his stream. I think it's on Twitch as well. All right, so the final segment we have for you guys is Xcloud. Again, no, unless I'm missing news in Shadow, but Mark, jump in if there is news in Shadow. But if not, we're gonna just focus the last segment on Xcloud, right? So
there's some news if we want to get that out of the way, because we'll probably run out of time. Jumping into Microsoft is always a big one. So next week some really big stuff happening. One thing you may not see on their social medias a lot, because they will try to keep it quiet, just as a ramping up, but their native Oculus Quest VR app will be opening and will be entering an open alpha state. So that is anyone can jump into it, but again, be very aware that that word alpha, it is a very early release of it. So if you compare it to something like I use, like virtual desktop, you may see sort of more latency, some more crashes, things like that. But it's good to see it progressing. It will be entering a state where it's not under NDA and locked down to selected people. Anyone can jump into that. So there will be information going out about that on the Shadow Community Forum on Monday, the 26th. And also next week, there is not an exact date as far as I'm aware, but it will be a day next week. The US data centers will also be getting access to additional storage, same as Europe did a few weeks ago.
Nice.
On that, Europe, because when we checked last week on the podcast, I think, or after, when I log into my account, it says that they have run out in Europe. That is not the case. There is still a lot in Europe, and I think that I may have just discovered a website bug. So if you're seeing that, they haven't run out in Europe, and I've reported that, so they'll be checking to see if that's something they can fix, so that people in Europe can get access to additional storage. It's coming to the US. And just keep your eyes out for November is going to be a very big month, and I can't say any more than that.
Ooh, you can't leave us with that cliffhanger, bro.
In Europe, by the way, Mark.
It's still showing as sold out. Okay,
So
I ran into that bug over here one time as well.
Yeah.
I had to turn in a ticket, but honestly, it was like less than 20 minutes. They straightened me right out.
Yeah, so that'll be
Yeah.
some kind of bug. So hopefully we'll see that sorted next week, because I want to add some storage for mine, because we are coming into AAA title territory very soon.
Ooh. So Mark, you're gonna leave us with that cliffhanger, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right, so we're gonna hop right into Xcloud. Again, some stuff here, not a lot, but I think I'm interested to see what the panel has to say with the news. So touch controls has been inputted to Game Pass game streaming, which we call Xcloud in the channel still. So if you guys haven't tried that, I highly recommend it because it's really cool. And again, we'll get to me in a bit, but I just want to hear, members of this panel, have you tried the on-screen touch controls for Xcloud that was just updated this week? So to get started, Jerry, what's your take on that?
I have not done anything with touch controls because, like Chief, iPhone 12 Pro, and there's no Xcloud yet. But we do know eventually, even if it's in browser,
Yeah.
it should come there. I have been messing around with it on other devices though, and my thing with Xcloud is I know it's really soon. Is I'm dying for the PC version of Xcloud and the console version.
Right.
I think that's going to do a lot for Xcloud. And I have a video coming up that, using your existing Xbox to create your own Xcloud server and play any of your games, not limited to what's on Xcloud. It works so much better than Xcloud. It's freaking amazing. And I did a test the other day. I have cameras in my living room, and I'm looking at my Xbox, and I went to the store. I booted up my Xbox from my iPhone. The light never came on, just like it's not supposed to, but the Xbox came on. Let me pick any game in my library I had downloaded. I played Mortal Kombat 11 in the parking lot down the street. No problem, no stutter, no audio issue, nothing like I have with Xcloud. And then when I was done, I disconnected. It shut back down. I drove back home, and there it was, just chilling in standby again. And I'm like, there's my Xbox One X is my Xcloud server right there. And my Series X will be plugged into the TV and the gaming monitor. And I'll just use that to access as my own Xcloud. It's really great. So I wanna highlight that in my video coming up. But as far as Xcloud itself, it has a ways to go, and strictly being on basically just like Android phones is very limiting for me. And I really need to see it come into PC and console and stuff like that. So I'm more excited about the actual Xbox streaming to the iPhone than I am anything else right now, or iPad.
Dude, that sounds sick. Cannot
It
wait
works
for
really
that
well.
video. Yeah, sounds pretty cool. How about you, Holtz? Have you tried this whole touch input stuff?
No, I've not tried it, but I welcome it for all the people who actually do like touch screen inputs. Me, I've just got two fat thumbs and sweaty screens, so if I'm playing games like this, I'll just be too distracted. So I'm more of a controller person. But I know, I've seen on YouTube, there's kids out there that are talented
Oh my
with these
goodness.
touchscreen inputs, and we're talking about first-person shooters and everything, and they're amazing. So just taking around your Android phone and playing, Xcloud games with no controller, just touch input, is an amazing feature by itself.
True. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on this? Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it as yet. Again, I'm one of these iPhone users who are absolutely the spawn of evil across the earth. And what I'm actually really looking forward to, I'm actually looking forward to it when it comes to iPhone. But what I actually love what they're doing with this, they're actually adapting the touch controls per game. So some games that during different sections have different ways you can control it. I know the Gears 5 one's the famous one where you can actually, when you're in the snow section on the wee sleigh thing, the controls are completely different to when you're actually running about. I'm actually loving how they're actually embracing this, and they're pushing this really out, and they're catering to everybody. And I do want to get Slay the Spire on it now. I'm just wanting it because that's got touch controls, and that's my favorite game at this moment. That's a game I play every day.
So Ash is echoing what you were talking about. Console streaming is great, to you, Jerry. But yeah, Duncan, I do agree with what you're saying. I think again, just having the options, man, it's not bad for the consumers. But yeah, I will get to my take on that some more. But Mark, have you tried this? What's your take on this?
I have not tried it myself. I do think it's a great feature. It's kind of what I've been hitting on with Microsoft a lot recently. The accessibility is one thing they're really hammering in on, creating an ecosystem where you can access this library of games from different devices. There's different subscriptions set up with Game Pass Ultimate, and that's probably going to turn into a few different tiers as well. So accessibility is one thing that they're really doing well. Personally, for me, I'm not a mobile gamer. I need that kind of tactile response of a controller to properly feel what I'm doing. And for myself, I've similar to a lot of you guys, I've got the Razer Kishi. I think somebody else said, Asasi said that as well. So the Razer Kishi is a great pairing for for Game Pass for Android users who obviously aren't evil scum walking the earth.
Yeah, Kichi's great. If you guys haven't tried it yet, and 007 saying he wants a Kichi too. But Chief, what's your take on this? Have you tried it yet?
So I haven't tried the new ones. I did try Hellblade on the Xbox Game Pass and commented that it wasn't there when it came to the full version when they released it and still the beta state, and it was awful. It was absolutely awful in the
Yeah.
Xbox Game Pass beta, and then they also dropped in the it was a little while ago the touchscreen controls on Minecraft Dungeons, and that worked better. And it was the first we saw, I think, of the customized touchscreen layout, but it still wasn't quite on point. I do want to have a go because I'm primarily an iPhone user. I've only got a Droid for work purposes and just to do some testing and stuff. But watching your video, it looks like it's come a huge way. And they obviously came out big with it. They gave it a huge announcement,
Yeah.
10 games, all with customized touch controls. It looks so much more responsive. It looks much better. And I've only got controllers. I've only got the PS4 controller and a Stadia controller. And the one thing I found is when I've been out and about and I've been in a situation where I need to kill some time, partners doing shopping, etc., bored, waiting for people, having touchscreen controls is good enough because you just want to hop into a game, you just want to kill 5-10 minutes. So having touchscreen controls, the type of game that you're going to hop into for that period of time, you're not going to need super responsive controllers. And I don't want to go and buy a Kishi because I will play mobile games on my phone probably once a month, if that. It's just in those random situations where I just want to quickly play something on my phone just to kill some time. And Among Us pretty much fills that gap right now because it's just so easy to pick up and hop into a game for 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm loving what they're doing. The game streaming really has piqued my interest because I've got Series X coming for testing with the channel, and to be able to download those games at full resolution, put it on the Series X, and then just stream it to the phone is going to make a huge difference. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays versus Xcloud. I think the touch controls and the way they're doing it is spot on. I don't think they could have done it any better.
Yeah. I like how each game is different, right? So it's like they took time. Again, that's why I feel like there are only 10 games because they took time to make sure that touch feels different for each game. And that is pretty cool. And you can tell when you're playing it that, man, I mean, I've tried touch for GeForce Now, Shadow, one of them. And
yeah, GeForce Now and Shadow have got it, but it's just like a massive. Suddenly, your screen is just full of controls.
It's not good at all. Stadia, I feel like is pretty decent with touch, but I feel like hands down, this is by far the best implementation yet for touch controls, and it's going to be pretty cool to see. I would love to test it out with a first-person shooter, right? Just to see how they customize it for that. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned 10 games because I was just booting up Rainbow Six just to have a little test, and it wasn't there. I was like, "Oh, Chief just said only 10 games." I just put it back.
By the way, Rainbow Six doesn't work, and it's really peeing me off because I really wanted to try that.
So yeah, I haven't tried it yet too. But Chief was you were saying that earlier that it doesn't work, which leads me to the next segment with Xcloud. Rainbow Six was released, and just want to hear if anyone here has tested it out. But from what Chief is saying, I think it's not working. But
I think Xcloud is broke. I've not seen anybody manage to play it. It seems like you need on your console to pair somehow with the Ubisoft account, but there is nothing on either of their websites to do it. And if you go to the Microsoft pairing, it's only got the socials there. It doesn't give you the option to pair with Uplay. And likewise, if you go into your Uplay account, there's no way to link an Xbox account. So you have to do it, by the looks of it, through an Xbox.
interesting.
I don't know which models there are, 1S, 1X.
Now I'm curious.
To see if it can link the account, because all of the instructions say about pairing through the Xbox app, but it's not on Windows, so you can't do it through the Xbox Game Pass app. And obviously on Xcloud, there's no option in the app to do it. It takes you to the website. So when it prompts you in game to connect an Ubisoft account, which it requires for you to match, or to look at operators and stuff like that, it says, do you want to pair to Ubisoft account? Cancel just cancels the dialogue. Okay, it's supposed to start that linking process, and then it just throws up a huge error saying, can't launch this. And you're just stuck on the home screen, and that's it. So there's been quite a few complaints about it on Reddit, but there doesn't seem to be any fix, and it's been that way for at least 4 days now.
Interesting. So I'm going to ask the question, members of the panel. I'm assuming that this is a no from what Chief is saying. If you guys have tried it, Rainbow Six on Xcloud or Game Pass game streaming. That's a no. Negative. All right. So that is pretty much the show. And again, I see you over there, Holtz. Were you going to say something?
No, I thought, no. If it was time's over, I was just going to talk about the dongle that was mentioned.
Yep.
Let's do it. Go ahead.
I mean, for me, I've always been banging on about native apps on TVs, but if the TVs don't support it, I've always wanted more dongles. And hearing this news that Microsoft is potentially bringing a cheaper hardware in a dongle form really excites me to play Xcloud.
Yeah.
And
especially if it's going to be free.
Wait, you said free? Is it
Yes,
supposed-
yes, I did say free.
It's supposed to be free?
Depending on what level of Game Pass you subscribe to.
Yeah,
well, I've got a lot, so I want a free one.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about in terms of accessibilities and the different tiers that they're going for, and this is one of the things that Phil basically hinted towards, that branching away from, because obviously Game Pass Ultimate was just supposed to be, it was the best place to put it for the moment because it was for kind of hardcore players who want to play games everywhere, and it was the best place to drop it to test it out. And it will eventually, it may stay part of that, but it will branch away into its own thing, at which point they'll have different tiers. And I think that was what he was hinting at, is that there would be a tier of Xcloud, which would be such a price that it would warrant throwing in this type of hardware for free with it.
So that means they're going to mess around with the pricing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
What does that do for people who are on all access? Does that mean that they get upgraded to the full tier, the highest tier?
So
Potentially.
Interesting to see.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we could. I mean, one thing, obviously, that the Ultimate subscription gives you stuff like Xbox Live Gold, which so I'm paying for. I don't even own an Xbox at this point, so I'm paying for stuff that I'm not using. So in that respect, I am looking forward to this sort of the more tiers becoming available, more choice. Anyway, you can kind of give that freedom to consumers. It is always better, in my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah. Again, we talked about it early in the show, like just the option that Microsoft's providing for gamers, right? Is a beautiful thing. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. But I don't know how to say this name. Hold on, let me pull this back. And this had me, I almost laughed in the show. But a 720p dongle, my goodness. No, thank you.
No, I wouldn't want a dongle for 7p. I wanted the potential to offer Series X graphics in time. And of course, I wanted to have a Microsoft Store user interface that allows me to pay my UHD Dolby Vision movies on as well.
Okay.
So I want it to be like the Google TV. Yeah, like the Google TV, but a Microsoft version.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is exciting. I mean, I heard about this, but really didn't know too much about it. So I'm going to do some more research. But again, offering more options to users or gamers is a beautiful thing. So this is good. This is
And
good.
it's not just options. Microsoft's Ultimate plan is reaching as many gamers with their
Yes.
games as possible, even if
Yes.
it means giving away more hardware. That's why when people say, no, PS5 will still get the Bethesda exclusives, no, they won't. They'll be Xbox exclusives. You're not getting the next
Oh,
Doom.
you're
You're
not
not
getting
getting
that.
Elder Scrolls 6. It's not going to happen on PS5 now. They're going to be reaching so many people. The
Yeah.
PS5 is going to look this big compared to the market that
Yeah.
they're going for. So
I think.
Yeah,
I
so-
think. Go ahead.
So I was calling out this this message from I Am Hendo earlier saying Xbox are setting themselves up to absolutely dominate, especially in
Yeah.
cloud. Don't think Amazon or Google have a chance against Xbox because they have the content, and they are building a ridiculous content library. And as Jerry just said, the whole point of them, going for the subscription market, they've publicized this many a times. They're going for subscriptions, Game Pass subscriptions mainly, and that's why they're going to start looking and playing with these tiers, because they know Xcloud's going to be the thing, and they're not touting it as a separate tier because the hardware's not there. But if they chuck out a dongle and say, oh, you can now do it at 1080p, suddenly it becomes its own tier. They got rid of Game Pass PC while they upgraded up the price again to tout people on PC really want Game Pass, and hey, we can get a bit more money for it. Or they can upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate and get the benefit of all the other subscriptions. So they know what they're doing.
Right.
And ultimately, they want people to play their games. They don't care whether you play it on a Series X or a PC or in the cloud. Just play
Right.
the games. Buy the sub. Xbox for life. That's what they want. So I think, unless other systems can get that content, and buying Bethesda, or not just Bethesda, buying ZeniMax Studios, which is a whole host of them. 24 studios, AAA titles. They could do it every 3 months quite easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Can I-
it's nuts.
yeah, there's 24 studios equal 35 teams
Insane.
right now working on exclusive Xbox. So
And
it's
more
crazy.
can be potentially coming too. But Duncan, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, just going back to the subscription model, I think a lot of people are maybe underestimating how big the subscription model is going to be, especially as we've now seen the prices for the new next generation of games. They are now $70, 60, £70. With games going into these subscriptions day one with Microsoft, and now Luna seems to be going down that route with their stuff as well. I think subscriptions are going to really kick off over the next wee while, and you won't. The talk about I want to own these games, I want to own them, is going to start to diminish as more and more big titles go into the subs.
Right. So
I've said
yeah.
this before. I've got EA Play Plus. I've got Uplay Plus because I don't want to just be tied to I've got to pay £40 for the base version or £70 for the deluxe version, and then 2 games I wanted come out this month. I've got to drop 140 quid on games, whereas I can just pay that £12 a month, and I know that when that AAA game drops, I can play it day one. So that's the same thing with Xbox Game Pass. I'm going to have the Series X. I've got a powerful PC. I can play any of those Xbox Game Pass games and these AAA titles, which will drop day one, which is what they've also said. All their first-party titles will be on Game Pass. So I don't have to spend that £50-60. I can just let that little subscription tick over, like the other however many million that they've already got on board, and get those titles. And that fuels these 24 studios to just keep pumping out content.
Yeah. It's true. So, real quick, we're on kind of close in time, but just a quick story, right? Again, my daughter's birthday, had a sleepover, had some of her friends here, and they were talking about like Minecraft Dungeon and how they want to play that so bad, and they were just like, "Man, I don't have money to buy an Xbox." And I just pulled out my Xcloud and just showcased the game, and they're like, "What is that?" And so I told them what it was, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell my parents about it." So Microsoft, you should pay me for this. But anyway,
Wouldn't it be boss if you walked in and went Cortana? No Minecraft Dungeon.
yeah, that would be so dope, right? But no, so parents came after the sleepover, and the kiddos they were telling them like, I just play Minecraft without an Xbox. So the parents were like, what? How are you doing that? So I told them, for $15 a month, you can just subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, and you can play all of Minecraft and Microsoft Studio games. And they signed, seriously speaking, about 6 kids signed up for Xcloud from that point. Again, Microsoft, I want my cut, but that was it's just like it speaks volumes of what they can do with these studios that they are.
When you walked off, did you go,
purchasing.
and don't forget, like, subscribe, and like the channel?
Like, subscribe.
But no, they have a good thing going right now, man. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, fellas, just want to give, we kind of close on time, but I just want to give an opportunity for members of this panel to plug the channels and what they do. So to get started, Jerry, just let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, guys, Game Tech Planet, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, hardware, cloud, games, testing, all kinds of fun stuff.
Cool. Mark, where can they find you, sir?
I am Mark Watts VLGS over on Twitter and Mark Watts VLG on YouTube for cloud gaming news, tech, live streams, and VR content.
Cool, cool. Duncan, where can they find you?
You can find me at Cloudy with Games and just check out all the jazz there.
There you go. Hold, sir. Is that channel up yet?
You should have seen it. I was doing some channel stuff the other day, and I was doing some Japanese for Attack on Titan. So I was like, "Kubisuji Okiru, Shine!" And then the microphone wasn't even on for the audio. So I was recording stuff, and I was just shouting Japanese, playing this game like, yeah, ready for my first video. Didn't work.
Welcome to the content creators' nightmare.
Right. If you guys were, yeah. If you guys were wondering like why my light is like this, again, it's just that issue was working literally right before we started, and then now it's the way it looks. So apologize for that, but you know where to find us on here. But appreciate you guys. This was a lot of fun. Next Saturday, same time, we come on here, we talk cloud gaming, and so it's fun. So I hope to see you guys next time. And this week was exciting. I think next week we have 2 games dropping for Stadia with Watch Dogs Legions, and there's another one. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about too. So again, appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, peace out.